Clara's eyes snapped open to complete and utter silence. No whispers, no echoes, no sound at all. Just an endless, suffocating blackness pressing in from all sides. She was no longer in the hallway of doors, no longer in the motel, no longer anywhere she could recognize. Her body felt weightless, as though she were floating in an abyss without gravity. But there, just ahead, a faint glow flickered, pulsing like a dying heartbeat. Clara forced herself forward, though the ground beneath her feet felt neither solid nor real. The light was her only guide, and somewhere deep in the void, she could hear Eleanor's voice, weak, distant. "Clara, don't let it take me." As Clara moved toward the light, the void around her trembled, shattering like a mirror struck by a hammer. Pieces of reality reassembled in jagged fragments, forming a grotesque approximation of a room. The walls bent at impossible angles, shifting with each step she took. Broken furniture floated in midair, spinning slowly as if caught in an unseen current. In the center of the warped space stood Eleanor, her figure translucent, her expression dazed. Clara ran to her, but as she reached out, Eleanor flinched. "You shouldn't be here," she whispered, her voice carrying the weight of something inhuman. Clara hesitated. Eleanor's face was pale, her eyes too wide, too hollow. But before Clara could question her, movement flickered in the shattered glass surrounding them. It was their reflections, but wrong. Twisted versions of themselves, shifting and watching, their mouths moving in silent, distorted mockery. One of them, Clara's own reflection, pressed its hands against the cracked glass, its lips curling into a knowing smile. "She's not the Eleanor you remember," it mouthed. Clara's pulse pounded. If this wasn't truly Eleanor, then where was she? And what was she standing in front of? Eleanor, or whatever had taken her place, tilted her head, her expression unreadable. "You have to let me go," she whispered. "It's the only way out." But Clara's gut twisted. The reflections were watching her every move, waiting, anticipating. If she listened, if she left, would she truly be saving Eleanor? Or would she be abandoning her to something far worse? The walls groaned, and the room around them began to collapse. Time was running out. Clara's mind raced. Who was lying? The thing in front of her, or the thing in the mirror? Scene 5. The other door, a sound, deep, resonant, rumbled through the shifting space, like a bell tolling from the depths of something ancient. The reflections laughed, their jagged teeth glinting. Behind Clara, another door materialized out of the void, its surface covered in symbols she had seen before. The same glowing runes from Holloway House. A second chance, another path. But stepping through it would mean leaving this Eleanor behind, leaving behind whatever she had just found. Clara's breath hitched. Was she walking into salvation, or another trap? The door creaked open, waiting for her decision. The door stood ajar, its runes flickering with an unnatural glow, casting long shadows that slithered like living things. Clara hesitated at the threshold, her heart hammering against her ribs. Behind her, Eleanor, or whatever was wearing her face, reached out, her fingers twitching unnaturally. "Stay," she whispered, her voice layered, like multiple voices speaking at once. The reflections in the fractured glass grinned wider, their mouths stretching too far. Clara clenched her jaw. Every instinct screamed that if she stayed, she would never leave. Taking a deep breath, she stepped through the door, into darkness. Clara expected another warped, shifting void. Instead, she found herself standing in a familiar space, the Holloway House. But something was off. The air was too still, too clean. The walls were pristine, untouched by time or decay. There was no dust, no whispers, no sign that this house had ever been abandoned. The chandelier above glowed warmly, casting golden light over the polished floors. A fire crackled in the hearth, filling the space with a soft, inviting glow. For a split second, Clara felt as though she had stepped back in time. Then she noticed something chilling. Portraits on the walls, their subjects watching her with unblinking eyes. One painting stood out, a regal man in an old-fashioned suit, his expression severe, his gaze too lifelike. Dr. Holloway. Clara stepped closer, and as she did, the temperature in the room dropped. Frost bloomed along the edges of the frame. A whisper, distinct from the others, brushed against her mind. "You're not supposed to be here." The fire in the hearth flickered violently. A sudden thump echoed behind her. She spun around and found herself face to face with a man who shouldn't exist. Dr. Holloway stood before her, solid, real, his cold eyes studying her with quiet amusement. Clara's breath caught in her throat. Dr. Holloway was not like the other ghosts she had encountered. He was whole, his presence radiating power, control. "You seek the truth," he said smoothly, his voice calm yet commanding. "But truth is a burden few can bear." He gestured to the elegant surroundings. "This is what the house once was, before it was corrupted." Clara clenched her fists. "Corrupted by you," she snapped. Holloway merely smiled. "By something far greater than me," he corrected. His eyes glinted as he stepped closer. "You want answers? I can give them to you, but everything comes at a price." Scene 10. The price of knowledge. The walls groaned, the perfect illusion of the house flickering like static. Clara's mind raced. If Holloway wasn't the one controlling the house, then what was? And why did he seem almost trapped, just like Eleanor? "What price?" she asked warily. Holloway's smile didn't waver. "A simple exchange," he said. "You leave this place, and in return, you carry something out for me." Clara's skin crawled. She knew better than to make a deal with a man like him. But if he had the answers she needed, could she afford to refuse? The walls trembled again, the illusion threatening to shatter. Time was running out. She had to choose. Clara's breath came in shallow bursts. The air in the room was thick, heavy with the weight of something unseen pressing against her chest. Holloway's offer lingered in her mind. "Carry something out for me." But what did he mean? What could a man trapped in this house possibly need from the outside world? Clara eyed him carefully. "What do you want me to take?" she asked, keeping her voice steady. Holloway's smile never faltered, but there was something in his expression, a flicker of something ancient. He extended his hand, and in his palm lay a small black vial, swirling with an inky substance that seemed to pulse as though alive. "This," he said. "Take it beyond the threshold, and you'll have your answers." Clara's fingers twitched at her sides. Every part of her screamed not to touch it. The walls groaned again, the illusion of the house flickering, threatening to collapse. The whispers grew frantic. "Don't take it. Don't trust him. Leave now." But Holloway remained calm, waiting for her to make a choice. Before Clara could decide, the entire house lurched, as if something massive had struck its foundation. The chandelier above shattered, glass raining down in a cascade of glittering shards. The perfect illusion of the house tore apart, revealing the Holloway House as it truly was, a decayed, rotting corpse of a place, its walls shifting, bleeding, breathing. Holloway remained unfazed, though the air around him crackled with unseen energy. "Time is running out, Miss Carter," he said coolly. "Take the vial, or you may never leave." But before Clara could answer, something moved behind her. A shadow, not Eleanor, not the ghosts, something else. It stretched unnaturally along the floor, long fingers reaching toward her ankles. A guttural whisper slithered into her mind. "He lies. Clara stumbled backward, her foot landing on the cold, warped wood of the rotting floor. The shadow stretched, its form twisting into something humanoid, its edges rippling like liquid smoke. It had no face, but its presence pressed against her mind, its voice slipping into her thoughts like a sickness. Don't trust the doctor. Clara's fingers twitched, hovering over the vial Holloway still held out. If this entity was warning her against Holloway, then what was he really asking her to carry? Holloway sighed as if disappointed. You don't have time for hesitation, he murmured. If you refuse, you'll never get another chance to know the truth. The shadow lunged. Clara leapt to the side, crashing into a broken chair. The entire room shuddered, and somewhere, far away, the sound of a door slamming shut echoed through the house. Something was changing. Something had awakened. Clara's heartbeat pounded in her ears. The shadow shouldn't exist. Not like the ghosts, not like Holloway. It was something else, something that didn't belong here. She gritted her teeth. The house had been shifting its reality since she stepped inside, twisting the truth to keep her trapped. Was Holloway another trick? She made a choice. Clara snatched the vial from Holloway's palm. The moment her fingers closed around it, the house screamed. A violent force ripped through the air, sending her tumbling backward. The vial burned against her skin, seeping something cold into her bones. Holloway's face darkened. Brave, he murmured, but foolish. The shadow shrieked, surging toward her. But before it could touch her, Holloway snapped his fingers, and Clara's vision exploded into white. When Clara's vision cleared, she was outside. The Holloway house loomed behind her, its form warping, shifting between reality and nightmare. The sky above was wrong, a swirling, chaotic mass of black clouds and crimson light.